What's up, world changers? It's your boy Marbaby back with another Marbaby motivational message for y'all today. I pray y'all walking in y'all purpose. I pray y'all becoming the people y'all supposed to be, and I pray y'all are genuinely happy. Before we get started today, make sure you drop down and subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Hit that blue notification bell to get notified every time a new upload is uploaded onto the channel. On this channel, if you knew, we got Marbaby motivational messages, Marbaby motivational music, and mentorship, all for your benefit. Now, without further ado, the title of today's video, y'all, is How to Be Alone. How to be alone. This is something that I think every young person needs to learn before the age of 21. This is something that people don't learn, y'all, until they 50, 60, 70. Some people go to the grave, y'all, not knowing how to be alone. Right now, we live in a time where everybody is running to the light. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be front and center. Everybody wants to be noticed. The attention is now the new money, y'all. Everybody wants to be seen. Nobody wants to be alone. Even when they're alone at home, they want to feel security through other people. Maslow's hierarchy of needs says that one of the most primary needs of individuals are to feel secure by way of other people, right? So we have a need as humans innately to feel wanted and to feel needed, and we do not like feeling alone, right? We do not like being alone. But it's something that we must learn how to do, because if you don't, you're going to be seeking other people's validation and hopping from different individuals that you probably don't even need to be connected to in your life, whether it be friends, whether it be relationships. You're going to be hopping from person to person. So how to be alone. The first step, y'all, is understanding that God does his best work in the dark. I'm going to say this again, y'all. God does his best work in the dark. Y'all, when I first moved from Atlanta, a lot of people still think I live in Atlanta. I don't even live in Atlanta no more. I'm not going to tell y'all where I live. But when I first moved from Atlanta, I spent a whole year by myself. No text messages. I didn't text nobody. I didn't talk to nobody. Y'all, I mean, nobody. Like some people say, like, I didn't talk to nobody, y'all. Nobody. So I went a whole year not talking to nobody. I didn't have no social media. I cut everybody off, and it was just me. It was just Mar in my thoughts. And it was one of the darkest times in my life. But let me tell y'all something. It was the biggest growth. It was the biggest year of growth I had ever had in my life. And do y'all know why? Because I learned how to be alone. And I fell in love with myself again. I remembered who I was again, right? Because in all of us, there is some brokenness. But when you learn how to be alone for just a second, you put yourself back together, right? The first step of being alone is understanding that God does his best work in the dark. When God put Adam to sleep, he pulled out the greatest thing that he ever pulled out of man, which was Eve. He made Eve. In order to make Eve, God had to put Adam to sleep, right? In order for a plant to grow, a seed must be planted in the dirt, in the ground, in complete darkness, right? When a baby grows in a mother's womb, it is in complete darkness. It is alone by itself, right? In singletary, in solitude. Sorry, it's late. But God does his best work in the dark, y'all. So the first step to being alone is understanding that God does his best work in the dark. And even though you're alone, that doesn't mean you're not being worked on. God is working on you. God is cultivating you. He's making you into the person who you're supposed to be. So that's the first thing you need to remember. The second thing, understand that you are planting a seed of investment for something later. When I was alone, y'all, I was a little bit nervous at first, because it's like, I'm not really doing nothing. I'm not moving. I'm stagnant. I'm not progressive. But that's not the truth. Sometimes when God tells you to wait, sometimes when God puts you in isolation, sometimes when God has you alone, you're making the most progress you've ever made in your life. It just doesn't feel the same as it typically does, because you're not surrounded with other individuals, right? So When you're alone, when you're in isolation, you got to remember that you're planting a seed for down the line. You are making yourself better in this moment by being by yourself than being with other people, because you're giving yourself a chance to be honest and open with yourself. The truth is, we distract ourselves with other people. I'm dropping gems on y'all. When we're around other people, it's so loud that we distract ourselves with other people, with partying, with going out, with seeing what she's doing, with seeing what he's up to. But when we're by ourselves, we're forced to look ourselves in the mirror, and you're forced to think about what you're doing wrong. Y'all, when I was alone by myself, I looked myself in the mirror and I had a lot of things to work on. But when you're in isolation by yourself, you really plant a seed for later down the line. So remember, when you're alone, you're making an investment in yourself. You're not lonely, you're investing. You're investing. Now, if you're alone by yourself and you're not doing nothing to work on yourself, that's a problem. But when you're alone by yourself and you're being reflective and you're being transparent about how you're supposed to move forward, then you're doing something right. So the second thing is understanding you're planting a seed of investment for later down the line in your life. And the third and final thing, remember this, y'all. If this is probably one of my favorite videos I ever made, y'all. The third thing I need to say, y'all, nobody else is doing anything. You're not missing out. I took 2-3 years off of social media. Like, I had a little Instagram before, and then I had deleted it for a long time. I went MIA, and then when I came back, I made a post. I got all these likes, but social media was the same. I hadn't missed nothing. It was a couple Instagram updates, but I didn't miss anything. And then I'm seeing everybody's still out here lying, still doing the same thing. But I had grew. I had got myself back in shape. I was mentally sharper. You know, my thoughts were myself, and I was genuinely happy. You're not missing out on anything. When you're alone by yourself, sometimes you need that time. You know, sometimes you need that time to chill. I was talking to a young lady, had my heart, and the one thing that I really liked about her was that she took her own time to herself. And she chills, she watched TV, she don't really be going out, really don't be up in everybody's face. But she takes time to be alone sometimes, and she watches her shows. And she doesn't know that I noticed, but that's her peace. That's how she moves forward. That's how she gets to the next step of her life, right? Because the hustle and bustle of every day, you got to learn how to be alone, and you got to learn how to take some time out for yourself so that you can move forward and be who you need to be. Don't be worried about being up in everybody else's face. You got to be you, and you got to love yourself and give yourself a chance to fall in love with yourself. So the three things: how to be alone. God does his best work in the dark. Make sure you remember that, right? God is cultivating you when you're by yourself in isolation. God is doing something to you. You're becoming better. The second thing, sorry, y'all, I'm still sick. Understand that you're planting a seed of investment for something later in your life. And the third thing, nobody else is doing anything and you're not missing out. Stand on that. I love y'all. I pray y'all are not afraid to be alone. And I pray that y'all shift the perspective in y'all minds about being alone. You're not lonely. You just getting right. I pray y'all got something out of this. I pray y'all moving forward in y'all lives. And I pray y'all doing something productive. That's another Marbaby motivational message. Peace.